Unless you've been living under a rock recently, you will have known that the US Speaker of the House recently flew from Kuala Lumpur to Taipei as part of her diplomatic mission in Asia. This one flight is now the talk of the town. I'm going to go through 5 facts about this flight, with number 5 being the most shocking and controversial. The aircraft. Pelosi flew in one of these, a special 737 modified aircraft called the C-40 Clipper. And while this isn't at the level of Air Force One that Joe Biden would be using, it still has plenty of comfortable seating to work, dine, or lie down if needed. It also has extra fuel tanks which allow a range of 5,000 nautical miles compared to a standard 737 which would be about 3,000 nautical miles. This will be very useful as you'll see later. Now if you're enjoying this video, why not consider subscribing? I'd really appreciate it. The route. Now the route itself is a standard 4.5-hour trip as shown here. At present, only China Airlines operates this flight daily, whereas Eva Air, Malaysia Airlines and Starlux also operate it but on a more sporadic schedule. Pelosi's flight took a full 7 hours, taking the following route east over Borneo, past the Indonesian island of Sulawesi, and then skirting the east coast of the Philippines before landing in Taipei. This was deliberately done to avoid the South China Sea, an area of heavy Chinese military presence, and with relations already tense, this was a smart move to avoid the area. The flight tracking. Now, such was the anticipation of this flight, it turned out to be the most tracked flight ever on flight radar. Over 2.92 million people were tracking the flight at some stage of its journey, with over 708,000 still tracking it when it landed in Taipei. This caused significant strain on flight radar systems not being able to cope with the influx of users. To prevent the system from crashing, there was a waiting room implemented at short notice which only allowed paid subscribers to track the flight. The airports. Now the airports used on this flight were not your typical airports either. For diplomatic missions such as this, it's common to use military bases to transport government officials. In this case, the flight departed from Subang Airport in Kuala Lumpur. This was the old commercial airport in Kuala Lumpur before most civilian operations moved to Kuala Lumpur International in 1998. Similarly, the plane landed in the aptly named TSA Zhongshan Airport, rather than the usual TPE Taipei Taiwan Airport. While TSA is mostly a military base, it also handles a small number of regional flights. The military escort. Finally, the flight was shrouded in secrecy for obvious reasons. No stone was left unturned. As it entered Taiwanese airspace, the flight was escorted by the US ally by its own fighter jet to ensure that it arrived safely, according to Taiwanese media reports. The drama of the most tracked flight in history was finally over. What did you make of Pelosi's flight? What are your thoughts on the US-China relations? Leave a like and comment below. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep flying high.